The following feature presentation is part of the Skywalking Network.
This is what you can look forward to on episode 440 of Skywalking Through Neverland.
The best animation is done without having to explain what's going on.
Me in my big green beanbag chair and watching the holiday special, and when we saw the cartoon, it's like, okay, now it's kicking into high gear.
I'm gonna turn the tables on you. Was it a surprise to see what you saw in the cartoon?
Were you telling everyone that you're working on Boba Fett?
I hope I answered enough of them so that, the mystery is solved.
We'll meet again, friend.
Are you ready?
Off to Neverland!
Here we go!
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land.
When I first made Star Wars, everybody in Hollywood said, well, this is a movie Disney should have made.
You're more than just fans. You're family.
Best day ever!
Secrets love.
It's about family, and that's what's so powerful about it.
Hey.
When you use a bird to write with, it's called tweeting.
When we visit the world of Disney, we never grow old. It's a Peter Pan, Never Land that keeps us young in heart.
This is Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you are skywalking through Neverland. I have a good feeling about this.
Hey, Skywalkers! We kick off our celebration of the Star Wars Holiday Special by talking with a new friend.
They are here, friend.
But first, we want to welcome you back to Skywalking Through Neverland. I am Richard Wolosky, but now everyone please say hello to my sweetie wife Sarah, who is my own Miss Marvel.
Ooh, that's right. Yeah, the Marvels is coming up. It's coming up fast.
This Friday. Mm-hmm. However, we're going to go see it tonight.
Yes. Oh, I'm so hoping it's good. I have high hopes.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good.
I hope so.
However, you just need a background in WandaVision and Miss Marvel to really know what's happening.
And Captain Marvel.
And Captain Marvel, right. But if you're just dealing with the MCU on the big screen and don't have Disney Plus.
Oh, right. Yeah, you might be in
trouble. But who would walk into a movie that's so immersed in the MCU and go, oh, I'll be able to pick this up, no problem.
Probably not
when you
anymore.
have such a big universe, you're not going to just jump into anything and expect to know what's going on.
No, I agree with that. Like, I don't think I'd jump into the third Hobbit film and be like, all right, I know what's going on. But yeah.
I don't know what a Hobbit is.
I know. Lord of the Rings. All right, well, Skywalkers, you have tuned in to your enthusiastic podcast destination for the many decades of your Star Wars, Disney, and Marvel fandom, also pop culture fandom. So imagine a big Wookiee hug for our family of Skywalkers and a little sprinkle of pixie dust for our family of Skywalkers. Now, right now, we are live on the Skywalking Through Neverland YouTube channel. And if you haven't already, please subscribe for notifications. I know this week we went live very quickly, and we we appreciate those of you who have tuned in. And also subscribing to our YouTube channel really, really helps us. Now, in this episode, we have a great discussion with John Celestri, who was the senior animator at Nelvana Studios, who in turn animated Boba Fett in the Star Wars Holiday Special. And we learned so much of the nuances that went into the Faithful Wookiee animated short, as well as how the artist Moebius connects with the look of the Star Wars universe.
Now, we are being sponsored by Small World Vacations, and they are a diamond-level Disney vacation planner travel agency and can help you book your trip to a Disney park around the world. And best of all, Sarah, guess how much the service is?
It's free of charge.
Free of charge. So head over there to smallworldvacations.com for a no-obligation price quote and tell them Skywalking Through Neverland sent you.
I was really trying to
thank
hold
you
that in.
for holding that in till I finish my sentence. Thank you.
I was really trying to.
So
You
when
were
you call
like
it small world,
dragging it out.
when you call it,
You're like dragging out the end of the sentence, like no, stop.
so when you call small world vacations, don't call and sneeze at them, okay? They'll have no idea what that means.
Like I just sneezed on my microphone.
Ew.
Oh my goodness. All right.
Now we are recording this from Long Beach, California on November the 7th, 2023. All right, Sarah. I like my routine, so I've got to ask you, how many more days until Halloween?
What?
How many more days? You know
Halloween's
what?
over.
Yeah, when I get into a routine about counting down the Halloween days, I got to stick with it, okay?
So 365 minus 7 days.
Next year's a leap year.
365 minus 6 days then.
359 more days.
Okay, there you go. All right.
See, I knew that leap year would throw you off.
All right, well.
That's why you should always come to rehearsals, okay?
Okay. Well, I have another question for you.
All right.
What happened today in Star Wars history?
Well, this is an easy one. Today, 45 years ago, on November the 7th, 1978, Star Wars ends its initial release run at the Westgate Theater in Beaverton, Oregon.
Ooh.
And the final show was at 11:40 p.m.
Whoa. So I guess it counts if it starts
Yes.
before midnight.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Now, the Westgate Theater had the longest running engagement of Star Wars, where it played for 76 weeks.
Wow.
Now, because
Holy cow.
of a clause in their contract with Fox, they were allowed to play Star Wars after its 7-week extension that began the previous July. In the previous July 1978, a lot of people thought, hey, this is a Star Wars re-release. But it was really an extended release that was only supposed to go on for another 7 weeks. But because of a clause, the Westgate Theater was allowed to keep it until November.
Okay. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So that's over a year.
Yeah, it's
past a year and a half.
A year and a half since Star Wars came out in May of 1977.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Films now are lucky to get 76 days.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm. Now, the city of Portland, where Beaverton is a suburb, and the Westgate Theater took out an ad in the Oregonian thanking Star Wars, George Lucas, and a special thanks to C-3PO and R2-D2. And look at the ad right there. It features the Kenner R2 and 3PO action figures.
Oh yes, they are. Aww.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I gotta thank Michael Coate for finding this ad that was included in Today in Star Wars History.
Yeah, and if you're watching the YouTube channel right now, you can see the ad. How fun.
Isn't that a great ad?
That's
yeah.
so cute.
Everything back then was all, it's like, we need the figures, we need the characters. What can we do? Let's use the action figures, like on the first anniversary cake.
They're available.
All the Star Wars figures are right around the cake, except for the Jawa.
I love it. Oh, and we want to welcome, looks like Glenn is watching us today. Hey, Glenn.
Hey.
And so is Shamim.
Shamim, he's up in Oregon.
That's right.
Do you know where Beaverton is, Shamim? Let us know.
Let us know.
All right. Another big event happened on this date, but yet in 2003. Okay, so 20 years ago today, November 7th, 2003, Star Wars Clone Wars, the micro series, debuts on Cartoon Network.
Okay.
Yes, this is the Genndy Tartakovsky series. Now, you notice I didn't say Star Wars The Clone Wars.
Right, because
that
totally
would have been
different.
That would have been the Dave Filoni series. This is just Clone Wars, the micro series. Now, did you watch these back in 2003?
No, I did not know they existed until you showed them to me. Like,
yeah, we did a whole big breakdown on
Yeah.
every one of these little micro episodes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this was something really, really big, because now we're getting something in between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, and it all has to do with the Clone Wars. What happened in the Clone Wars?
Yeah.
Since the Clone Wars scenes happened at the end of Attack of the Clones, Like, no, the whole movie should have been the Clone Wars. That's what we want to see. And now this new series gave us all of that, including our first look at General Grievous.
That's right.
Oh, I was so excited about this.
Ah.
So yeah, every single day they would have these 2 to 3 minutes of these little shorts, and then as the series went along, they had 2 seasons rather, and they got a little bit longer, and a little bit longer, and a little bit longer.
Yeah, cutting their teeth on that.
Yeah, and
Love it.
Fortunately, this is no longer canon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, even though George Lucas had a big part in this, it's no longer, because Star Wars: The Clone Wars rewrote a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Although I remember this is the debut of Asajj Ventress.
Mm-hmm.
I remember her character looked really cool.
Yeah, very much
in
so.
This series. And Grievous looked really amazing as well.
Yeah. Oh, I got right over there. Hold on. Talk to everybody.
Oh, okay. All right, we got some comments here. Let's see. Oh, yes. So Oregon, yeah, Beaverton is in Oregon. Says Shamim. Excellent. Thank you, Shamim. Yeah. Oh.
Just so happens, I've got my General Grievous Clone Wars maquette right here.
That's beautiful.
Oh, look at that. I love this so much.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
And for those of you who have a copy of Today in Star Wars History, you'll see General Grievous for this entry. Wow.
That's right.
Now let's get into Things We Want to Share.
Things we want to share. Things we want to share. Things we want to share.
All right, we have a reminder, Skywalkers. For Friday, November 24th, we will be at LostCon, and we will be hosting the Pop Culture Trivia Challenge Strikes Back game show with prizes, and we are working on some holiday special deals for that event for our book series.
Mm-hmm.
And so right here on screen, you'll see that the Pop Culture Trivia Challenge will be Friday, November 24th at 8 p.m. at the LAX Marriott in room Pacific Coast 3. And this is at the LostCon convention.
Now, I would be really excited to see this ad because we have a whole array of pop culture. This would really excite me. We have Superman.
As played
by Nicolas Cage, the movie that never happened.
Yep.
We have a little bit of Star Wars, a little bit of Ghostbusters, a little bit of Charlie's Angels, a little bit of the Peanuts, a little bit of Jaws, Mario Brothers, Indiana Jones, Super Friends, and the Monkees. You know what? I think I'll attend this. I want to play this.
I hope you do.
This is going to be so much fun. So come one, come all. Once again, Friday, November the 24th, 2023.
That's right.
At the LAX Marriott.
Awesome.
Now, we just also submitted 3 panel proposals for Emerald City Comic Con. I know we talked about this last week that we were going to. Guess what? We did it.
We did.
We did it. We had submitted. Yeah, so this will take place the weekend of Friday, February 29th.
Yes.
All right. So
Leap day.
Leap year. Yes,
Leap
exactly.
day. And Emerald City Comic Con is up in
Seattle.
Seattle. Thank you.
Yes.
Seattle, Washington.
So we had submitted the Star Wars Trivia Challenge Strikes Back, Pop Culture Trivia Challenge Strikes Back, and Classic Marvel Star Wars Comics, the first expanded universe story breakdown.
So we're hoping they, get these panels, pick up these panels. We will let you know, Skywalkers, what happens.
Yeah, they say they're going to let us know by December 14th.
Ooh, wow. Okay.
September 14th, so...
December.
What did I say September?
You said September the second time.
This is not the first time today I've done that.
Really? Oh my goodness. What is going on?
I don't know. All right. Shamim wants to know, what are the prizes? Oh, we have lots. We have lots of prizes.
We have a lot of Star Wars books. We have some pops.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got...
Whenever we go to these press conferences, they always load us up with all these gifts. Like, we only have so much space. Look behind us. We only have so much space for things.
Yeah.
So, guess what? Skywalkers, you're the recipients.
You get them.
Only if you attend our pop culture trivia panels.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before we talk with John Celestri about his work on the Star Wars Holiday Special, let's play a couple of more 10th anniversary congratulatory messages from the Skywalkers. So we're going to hear from Eric Unkenhout, who's been a great supporter of the Skywalking Network and has written a lot of great articles, and from Greg Berg, a.k.a. the voice of Fozzie Bear on the Muppet Babies. And thanks to Shamim's here in the Sky Chat, Shamim wrote out to Greg and said, hey, can you do this for the Skywalking Network?
Awesome.
He said yes. So thank you, Shamim, for doing that.
All right, first up, Eric Unkenhout.
Hey, Richard and Sarah, congratulations on 10 years of Skywalking through Neverland. Yeah, I just want to say thanks for all you do. Brought so many people together, Star Wars fans, Disney fans. I've met some great friends through Skywalking through Neverland. And so, yeah, we owe you a big thanks for all of that you do. You know, happy 10 years. Congratulations. Here's to 10 more. You know, let's keep it going.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Eric. That's right. I know he's made a lot of friends through Skywalkers.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool.
You know what? Let's take his advice. Let's keep it going.
Absolutely.
All right, let's keep it going now with Greg Berg. Waka waka.
Hi, this is voice actor Greg Berg, and I want to congratulate Skywalking Through Neverland on a successful 10 years of podcasting. Keep up the great work, and hope you do another 10 at least.
Done? Okay, see? He wants us to continue as well. I think we can do that for these people. What do you think?
I think so. I think it's in the cards.
All right. Well, with that, let's go do another 10 years, and we'll renegotiate at that point, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not 3? 10.
No, not, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
10 years.
Yeah, I got to renegotiate because we don't want AI coming in and doing our jobs.
That's right.
What is it, Master Luke? I'm not sure. You saved my life.
I am Boba Fett.
I see why they call you the best bounty hunter in the galaxy.
It's November, which means it's time to celebrate the Star Wars Holiday Special and Life Day. There are so many parts of the special to celebrate, such as the reunion of the Star Wars actors, the Cantina sequence, and the Faithful Wookiee animated short.
Before Jeremy Bulloch brought Boba Fett to life in The Empire Strikes Back, John Celestri animated the best bounty hunter in the galaxy in The Faithful Wookiee. John just released a fascinating book that includes the animation script and character model sheets.
Hey, John! Hey, there you are.
Welcome,
Hello.
John.
Hello, Sarah and Richard. Hello.
Hey.
Happy Life Day to you.
Same to you.
Now, I've got to start by saying the circle is now complete. In 1979, I was Boba Fett for Halloween, and I was so excited to be a character from the new Star Wars Holiday Special. And now I get the chance to talk to the man that brought Boba Fett to life.
Is that your costume?
No, I gotta say, this is back in 1979 where I didn't have my iPhone available or my disc camera or anything, so I have no pictures from this era of me wearing all my old Halloween costumes and arg.
But we are showing a picture of, what is it, the Boba Fett?
This is the Boba Fett costume, the Ben Cooper Boba Fett costume.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh my
But,
gosh.
but I still do have the costume.
Oh.
I just don't have a picture of a 10-year-old me wearing the costume.
Yeah. All right. Well, going back to the beginning, because you are an animator. So what is it that brought you to the realization that you wanted to be an animator?
I always wanted to be an actor. I always wanted to be a comic book artist, a comic strip artist. I wanted to be a writer. And I found that by an accident, I could capture motion with my pencil.
Oh,
perfect. I was drawing. I was working at the New York Athletic Club's magazine staff. There's a we call it organ, called The Winged Foot. And one of my jobs, besides doing pay stuff, this is not it's about 1972, 71, 72. One of my jobs was to go and do. I did sports cartoons, I did illustrations, I did pay stubs, I did all kinds of stuff. But they said the the editor sent me down to the gym where the Olympic fencing team was practicing, and so he said, do some drawings of the fencers. So I was doing quick sketches. Now I'm self-taught as an artist.
Oh.
I never went to school for it. So I was just going, okay, I'll have to do this as quickly as possible. And so they were like quick 30-second, 1-minute sketches, 10-second sketches of just really fast stuff. And I said, well, I don't know, this is the best I can do. Went upstairs to the office, and the editor said, these are great, and so that's when I discovered that I could capture movement and posing. And that's when I got the animation bug. It was in 72, I was at Alice Tully Hall for the 50th anniversary retrospect and of Disney. And that's where I saw Peter Pan again for the first time since I was a really young kid. And that's when we're flying over the streets of London. That's when I said, that's what I want to do.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So how would you describe your particular artistic style?
My style is very old school 30s and 40s of a combination of all the different types of cartoons I grew up watching as a kid, which was between the Disney animation with Warner Brothers and with Fleischer. I grew up in Brooklyn, and so the Fleischer studio was there, the famous studios, Popeye, Mighty Mouse, Terry Toons was in New Rochelle. So it was all New York stuff. Okay. And so my style of animation is very much of an acting, is action. There's also the element of from Bakshi because of just the streets of New York and Brooklyn. We all blended together, and my comic book work is a blending of all of the various styles of the 1940s and 1950s, and also with the old underground comics like Zap comics, R. Crumb, that sort of thing. And also you could look at my work is very much of again in the classic style of work of animation.
Nice. So what's your favorite Disney movie? Actually, let's put a baseline here.
Okay. And you know what? It's kind of, my favorite one is still Snow White, because that is the prototype, and that actually is the most well-blended personality arc of all of them, because you have Grumpy, who starts as a woman hater and over a period of time becomes Snow White's most strongest defender. And that's a story arc that is very complete, but yet it's satisfying, and it's also very exciting, and was also groundbreaking. So I'm very much, that is my favorite thing. But my favorite sequence is Stromboli in Pinocchio.
Yeah.
Stromboli in Pinocchio, and then also the Devil on Night on Bald Mountain.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I just showed him that.
So I have to say those are the three sections, but that's what has impacted me the most in terms of in the Disney realm.
Okay.
Yeah, just by looking at your artwork, you can see a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But what is the one John Celestri thumbprint you put on all of your artwork? The thing that goes, okay, this is like my personal touch.
My personal touch is a sense of weight, a sense of exaggeration, a sense of three-dimensionality.
Okay.
And power. I try to get power and even subtlety within the animation.
Yeah. You can really see that with Boba Fett in the Faithful Wookiee animated short. Now, after only 3 years in the business, you landed a job as senior animator at Nelvana Studios. That's the studios that produced the Faithful Wookiee, and then later on produced the Ewoks and Droids series.
Right.
Now, what did you think when you were asked to not just work on a Star Wars animated short, but the new villain, Boba Fett, who is going to be the villain of the new Star Wars film?
Well, I said, hey, I'm grabbing that with both hands. Yes. Well, because remember, Star Wars had come out the previous summer. 1977 was it was spring of 77 and throughout that summertime. It was a big to do. It was a real great fun flick. I saw it, I think it was like in May of that year. So it was it had come out pretty much. And I saw it for the second row back from one of the theaters. I was in Los Angeles working at the Patty Freeling, working on Mr. Magoo and Baggy Pants and, that sort of shows. And so I was working on Saturday morning shows there. And I was on, I don't know, I can't remember what theater it was, but the screen was, again, your typical 30-foot by 40-foot screen. And so when the spaceship comes over you, they're literally coming over you.
Because you're so close to the front.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
Really, really right up close with it. So,
wow.
Yeah. So you say in your new book, Boba Fett, which I just received, and I don't think I was even out of the package before I was going through it in every single page. You said that since you were the most seasoned animator at Nelvana, that's why you got Boba Fett.
Yes, that's right. By that time, I had been in the business I had my first job, at New York Tech, which was doing a feature film, Tubby the Tuba, staffed by a bunch of old Popeye and Mighty Mouse animators and some Disney animators, and they were trying to understand what was the process of animation to be able to create computer animation.
Oh.
Edmund Catmull was doing his study of what we were doing. He was on the other side of the campus. This was on Long Island. So we were in one part of the campus, and he was working on another side, and they were going back and forth, trying to figure out how to encircle keep a ball, or make it one line, and then and fill it with color and not it all drip out.
Oh my gosh! And Ed Catmull is one of the founders of Pixar.
Yeah,
right. And it's from that information, from that area of information that started. He had his whole treatise on what was needed, what was necessary, what were the problems of creating computer animation, and how to do a feature film. So that's where we came in. So I was working on that for 14 months as part of a full staff.
Okay.
Doing that kind of work. And so, so they then took that, and that became part of CAPS, and also all of the Photoshop. They did the first Photoshop painting. Al Guy Voder, I think his name. It was one guy who was working on a dragon, and he was doing it on screen and just working with that. So all that, I'm part of that group. So I had that feature film experience of Tubby the Tuba, and then I went into Richard Williams' Raggedy Ann and Andy. So I went from that to there. So I had 2 feature film experience under my belt, and then also a California work at DePatie Freeling. And that's why even though I was maybe 28 years old, I still had more experience than anybody else in Canada for feature films.
Wow. And you started to draw things like
Yeah.
this sketch of Boba Fett here.
Now, who designed the characters?
Okay, the characters, we had Frank Nissen did the original model sheets. Okay. Well, the only thing that we had really was the black and white video of the super stormtrooper, in white.
Yeah, the prototype suit.
Yeah, that was the Boba Fett.
Oh.
And that's what we had, and then the schematics for the actual costume. But the instructions from Lucas was to make it feel like Moebius in Heavy Metal magazine.
Mm-hmm.
So that was what it is. So what we got was so Frank did the initial model sheets, but they were very flat in design. Now you'll in the book you could see that the original model sheets are in there, and so what happens is that once you get a model sheet and it's been okayed by the director and then also by Lucas because he had the final say in everything. But then what happens is that in the process of going from flat model sheets into actually making a performance, it starts changing the design.
Right.
Yeah, understandable.
Very much so, because you have to. You could see how the various things are very different. They're no longer flat.
Yeah, that's when you come in and put that weight to them.
I put in the weight and the performance into it. It's all attitude. It's not just standing there. You have a shell, and then the actor is then, rather the animator becomes the actor, and then takes that initial idea and then lends, molding to it, to the process of giving it a sense of dynamics, the rhythm of how the acting will happen, because you have the voices, that the soundtrack and the dialogue has been done. And so therefore you have to listen to the tone and the rhythms that the actor has given as a performance, as the voiceover person. But then I have to take it, and in the problem with Boba Fett is that there's no facial expression.
Right. Yeah, he's just got a visor, a mask.
Yes.
So how did you get around that?
Well, tilting, knowing how to tilt the visor so that you could using it as an eyebrow. You have an eyebrow and a nose. So therefore you're turning, doing all kinds of pantomime thing, but also rhythmically, to be able to understand how is he going to tilt it.
Yeah.
And you have all of that, but it's also the body, the shoulders, the hands. How do you put all that together in not just a stilted movement, but in something that flows in rhythm to the dialogue, so that you do not need the eyes, the actual eyes and the mouth, but as long as you've got all of that, all of the other elements, then you make your presentation and your acting.
You know what? After reading your book and then watching The Faithful Wookiee again, I noticed that Boba Fett's T-shaped visor, it'll have either pointed edges or squared off edges. You can see the three-dimensional of the upper part of the visor. So yeah, it does act like an eyebrow. So he doesn't have a face, but you do a great job in bringing that emotion out of that helmet.
Yeah. Great, thank you.
And that's what I always loved about Nelvana in the Ewoks and Droids series, and even in The Faithful Wookiee. C-3PO's face will bend, R2's body it'll bend in a place where R2's body shouldn't bend, but just to really express that emotion and how the droids are feeling. And just an intense moment, R2's body may stretch out. And I just love everything about this cartoon, just because there's a lot that goes into characters that are all pretty much metal. But without the sound, you know exactly what's going on.
That's true. Yes, and that's the thing about animation. If you can tell what's going on without sound, then then the job has been done, because it's the best animation is done without having to explain what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very much so.
Did you have a particular, with the colors used for Boba Fett, did you have a say in that? Because I know his colors are so iconic.
No, I had no. What happens is you follow the palette that that is established in the design, and the design was the whole idea was to follow the Moebius sense of the Moebius palette. And if you'll notice on so many of the backgrounds are on the darker tonality of it. In the spectrum. Then you have the characters are in the lighter tonality. So the tonalities play one on top of the other, so that you have an easily recognizable being able to see the silhouettes and the characters moving and standing in front of each other. And there's something that people today don't really remember, is that most of the TV sets back then were still black and white. So if everything has the same tonality, you really can't see it. And the TV sets back then, a 19-inch was a really big inch, TV screen.
Yeah. And if the tube started to dim, the whole picture started to dim. And am I looking at Boba Fett? Am I looking at Fred Flintstone?
Tubes.
Mr. Magoo? I don't know. You're watching it like Mr. Magoo.
Yes, and hopefully, the static doesn't happen with the antenna.
Yeah. Gotta have a brother holding up an arm over here and a sister holding up an arm this way, and just so they can get a good 35 seconds of uninterrupted time.
Again, we're coming up where it's 45 years since the show was done.
As if it was only yesterday. Only yesterday that I remember sitting on a shag carpet with all my friends, me in my big green beanbag chair, and watching the holiday special. And when we saw the cartoon, it's like, okay, now it's kicking into high gear.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, that's it. I think it was. Was it a surprise? And I'm going to turn the tables on you. Was it a surprise to see what you saw in the cartoon?
Very much so, because of that age, we all loved cartoons, and we wanted a Star Wars cartoon. And then here we go. It's like, I'm not sure how this fits into the holiday special, but we don't care. We're getting a Star Wars cartoon starring the new Empire Strikes Back villain. Heads would just explode. My friends' brain matters were all over my walls. Like, oh, you're gonna clean that up afterwards, but
Ew.
I want to stay focused on this. It was so surprising and just such a huge welcome. Loved every second of. Unfortunately, Sarah wasn't born when this on the holiday special first aired.
I'm sure you've seen it.
Yeah. I was going to say the first time I saw it was in about 2006, the Star Wars Holiday Special. And, you start out, it's like all these Wookiees in this kind of dark room. You're like, what's going on? And then all of a sudden this bright, beautiful color animation short comes on. And I love animated shorts. I've loved, Disney since I was a little kid. So like Fantasia is one of my favorite movies ever. I just love the music and stuff. So to see this and all these Star Wars characters that we know and love rendered in such an interesting way, that really, artistically, I was really intrigued by the animated short when I first saw it.
And I told Sarah, we're not getting married until you sit through the holiday special.
I did it.
Okay, there you go.
I didn't even have her sit on a shag carpet. That's the way you should be watching the holiday special, on a shag avocado carpet, sitting in a big beanbag chair.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
Now,
Okay.
Clive Smith, who was the co-founder of Nelvana Studios, he directed The Faithful Wookiee, right?
Yes.
Okay, but it was George Lucas who said he wanted the Moebius style. Did Lucas ever come in and want to change some things here and there, or he just said, "Do Moebius, and I'll see you in 6 months"?
The best way that I understood how that worked was that Clive they worked out all of the script elements, We had the script, and then he did the storyboards. He and Frank Nissen did the storyboards of it and worked out all of the things that in the script. You will see that there are sections that were taken out.
Yes.
Well, that was when you do animation. You for TV, you have a limited amount of time, and you have to hit it at a certain point. So therefore, what happens is that you only have a certain time, and you know instinctively when something is going too long, and you start piecing it out, and especially if you have the soundtrack, you start saying, okay, what's my time?
Yes.
And so therefore, that's when you have to hit. You have to hit the commercial at a certain point within 2 to 3 seconds. Then you have to hit it at a certain. So you get used to timing something and having a good sense of what's going on. We use stopwatches to time out a scene and to say, okay, I think it'll take this long to do such and such. So you read out everything, and at a certain point, you start saying, I can't get all this into it. So there was a lot of stuff that was cut out, but the story makes sense, taking out all that. That you just don't have the time and the budget for all the elaborate things that was wanted in the original script. But there was no way to do it.
Is that why there was a new voiceover put in by Captain Kazan?
Starlog 324-1. From the bridge of the cruiser RS Revenge, Captain Kazan reporting.
There's a voiceover that comes in the beginning and the end.
Yes. It all starts. We always, you always have the set of a Starlog so and so, blah 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 blah, and so you have a lot of stuff going in. But basically, that's it's basically having the rollers going up.
Yeah, the crawl.
You have the it's not the episode. I call it episode 4.1.
Right.
So yes, that's why you have that. And explain it sets the tone and everything, and then you go bang right into the story.
Was there anything in particular that was cut out that you remember that you were sad about?
There was nothing cut out. Out of the film, once we did the animation was pre-timed. In other words, we already knew what was in the board, because what happens is that you do the storyboard, you have the soundtrack, and you put a story reel together, and so you know what the pacing is going to be for each scene, and so therefore it's already done and it's completed. So Lucas had the chance to see that.
Oh.
Yeah, he had to show what the reel was all about, and so because otherwise, you don't want the client to be disappointed in what you're doing, and so therefore you make sure that you get the okay on that, because you can't stop. Everything was overlapped. You had storyboards that were completed, then you have layouts that were started. Then so 2 weeks into layout, you start doing animation. Then you start having we had production level of maybe about 6 to 8 weeks for each section of that, but they're overlapped.
Okay.
So that there was a 2 week overlap on each one. So you may have like 6 different levels, all going here, here, and then so you finish this here, finishes here, so on and so forth. If that makes sense to you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So what was the time frame from beginning to end that you were given to complete this short?
I think we had maybe about 4 months altogether to do that level of work. I mean, maybe 2 months. But each section was 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
6 to 8 weeks, and that was it.
Wow.
So there was not a lot. I was drawing, and I never saw any. And we had no pencil tests. I never saw any pencil tests. I'm sure Clive did, but he looked at it, and as far as I know, they would send stuff up to down to California. But how that process went, I don't know, because I was busy cranking out footage, drawing as fast as I could.
So you were the performance model for Boba Fett. So did you record yourself with these movements?
No.
Okay, so you just drew it how you thought Boba Fett would tilt his head or his visor.
Anything I would have a mirror,
right,
and I would just hold up, like I'm doing, like if I'm looking at how do I handle, how I'll pose, my hands, say working a glove together. For example, I did a little thing of something like that with Boba in one of the close-ups, and I was thinking about Jack Palance in Shane. He was the gunfighter in Shane, and he had gloved hands, and so I was thinking, okay, let's play with that. Let's do something, because I wanted to have some sense of what kind of energy was coming from Boba, and that was of being a bounty hunter, but also a gunfighter.
Yeah. There were a couple of shots where Boba Fett would do something right to the camera.
Yeah.
Was that one of your ideas to animate him that way, or did Clive say, we want this to come right at the viewer?
Well, yes, that was that shot when they're doing that. Well, that was the only way to do that, because he was
the lasso.
Shooting out. It was a loop, a lariat going out.
Okay,
that's what's happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was part of the story. Like, that's the way to do the cut. So that was something that Clive came up with.
And also, when Boba Fett is communicating with Darth Vader, he goes to that Skype machine and puts that card, and he goes right into the camera, which I thought was very unique. I don't recall animation coming out at you at that period of time.
No, it didn't, because this was a very fully animated for the time piece.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Lucas wanted us, because we were doing that kind of work. We did a show called A Cosmic Christmas in Canada, and that had spacemen in it. The three wise spacemen coming to Earth. They had been following the star, and they land on Earth, and they're looking for what the meaning of the star is. And so that's and so he saw that, and how we handled the colors and just the feeling. It was very not Saturday morning-ish.
Right. A little bit more detail to it.
It was more detailed, but there was also an energy. It's hard to explain what that means. Is that it had a more European, which again lends to the heavy metal Moebius feel, because Canada had a lot more in line with style of drawing and painting and artwork, as in more European, more British, French, because of the Franco-Anglo aspect to Canada, which has both French and English. So that was a style that we were bringing in to it immediately, and that's why he chose us. So we used that as a way of making everything feel different.
Yeah, I can definitely see that, because at that point, our frame of reference was Hanna-Barbera.
Right.
When Fred Flintstone was not talking, he would just be standing still. But there was a shot where after Boba Fett had roped up Chewbacca, and Boba Fett is off to the side, and he's kind of just feeling his arm.
Yeah.
It was a little detail that you wouldn't get anywhere in the other Filmations or Hanna-Barbera, where characters aren't the center of attention, but yet you're still giving life to them.
Right, and that was the attention to make sure that they weren't just standing around.
Was this a direction that Clive had given you, or you just thought this is what he should be doing?
This is what he should be doing. Yeah, I was just given, because I was a senior animator. They were too busy doing so many other things. So all I did was I just took it. I mean, I would talk it over with Clive.
Right.
And then we say, okay, let's do this. He could do that. And say, okay, well, go ahead. and those were my instincts. But at the same time, if they didn't like it, they would have told me not to do it.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right. Now going back to that shot of Boba Fett when he's shooting that rope out of his gauntlet, he has 5 fingers.
Yes.
Whereas in the rest of the short, every character has only got 4 fingers.
Yeah.
This is the only time that they asked me to make it 5 fingers.
Now, did you do the 4-finger thing to kind of as a cost-cutting measure like they did with Mickey Mouse back in the day?
No, instinctively, it was like he's an alien.
Oh.
But
really?
even Luke, Han, and Leia, and 3PO, they only have 4 fingers at any given time.
Yeah, well, that was the style.
Okay.
That was the style, and for me, it was like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'll do it. I think the thing about the fist coming up, the gauntlet, is that because you're going to see it that long, it's out there, and you're really seeing it. They might have decided, okay, just do it. I was told to do it that way. That's all I know.
Okay.
Yeah, when the Hildebrands did their Star Wars painting, Leia only's got 4 fingers.
Okay.
And we talked to Greg Hildebrand about that, and he said, yeah, they had to do it so quickly, they just didn't think about it.
It was an oversight.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times that's what it was. It was Disney and the 5 fingers, the 4 fingers is really a hard thing. The Fleischers would be, Popeye has 5 fingers.
No.
All of the Popeye, humanoid character cartoons, he's 5 fingers. But in Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs, the dwarfs have 4 fingers.
And that's famously like Disney, like with Mickey Mouse, he said, "Oh, just pop off one finger, and that'll save you oodles and oodles of time."
It would, and it does, because you've got to draw all of them, and you've got to make sure that they transfer from one drawing to the next.
And they're just very detailed. Like I hate when I draw a person, I hate drawing their hands because it's just so, I just don't like it because it is very too detailed.
It's very detailed. But we figured, all right, well, and another thing you got to remember is that this was not meant for the big screen. Okay. Right now, I'm staring at a screen. It's an iMac, and it's like, it's a 20-inch, 19-inch. That's the biggest TV screen. And you can analyze this and pop everything up. Back then, you're sitting 8 feet away from your TV set that's at the most 19 inches, in diameter. Who's going to notice 5 fingers, 4 fingers if they're moving? If you're looking at it that way, we didn't engage you in the story.
And it wasn't until I read your book 45 years later that I realized, they only have 4 fingers.
Yeah.
Now, did you work on any other characters? And according to your book, you also worked on Chewbacca.
Yeah.
Were you the lead animator on Chewbacca?
No, when Chewie was on in the same scene as Boba, then I would handle Chewie rather. So
I see.
It really depended who was the dominant character, and for the most of the scenes is it's Boba Fett who is the dominant. So I handled Chewbacca in there.
Okay, that makes sense because they have their little side mission
to do a Chewie roar, in answer. You animated it. You mean? I animated, yes. Not the high man doing. Yeah, so
that's exciting.
There is that. I did Chewbacca. I did some other. I also did some. I did some Luke scenes. Okay.
The one really appealing thing to these characters are their small marble eyes. Was that a Moebius thing? Was that a Nelvana thing? Was that a Clive Smith thing?
It's a stylization, okay, and it wasn't meant. And because it was Moebius, once again, we are stylizing the cartoon and the characters. Mm-hmm. If you have too much detail, then things sort of in Xerox, and this is a technical thing. Sorry to go in, but that's part of it. When you draw a line and then you encase it with another line, you have a little olive, almost, and then you put a circle on there. Things start blocking up, and especially in Xerox back then. You're talking about 1978. Xeroxing starts just spreading, and you're creating a problem, and you're starting to getting blockage. So you're trying to make it as simple as possible for the artwork to stay clean.
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I've always just loved that style. I know we've talked a lot about Moebius. I know Lucas loved Moebius. He wanted the Moebius style for this. He had designed the Sunny Day in the Void episode of the Clone Wars after Moebius. Now, can you explain a little bit of Moebius' style? Because I'm looking at all those. I'm looking at heavy metal, and I'm not really seeing a big connection. What is the Moebius style?
Moebius had many different styles. Okay, in heavy metal, there are some. What is? Go back. You'll have to Google 1975. Okay. Look at the issues in 1975, and you will see. He did some. There was a series of silent, non-verbal comics that he did. I can't pronounce the name. It starts with an A, but it's a character who's riding on sort of a pterodactyl type of creature, and there's all of this artwork that goes on, and you'll see some of the dinosaurs that what we did are very, the creatures are very similar to that. So you have to go back. Moebius also did a cowboys. This is called Blueberry. And it was more realistic. He varied his style.
Okay.
So you have to really know what time frame we're talking about and what genre he was working with.
Okay.
Right.
There's a lot of there's some stippling. It's a simple line art, and then there's stippling that happens throughout, and you'll see that. And that it becomes a problem to carry over from animation, from drawing to drawing, because if it's all over the place, then it just jumps and it looks bad. But you have to understand where the design and how many strokes that you do on each drawing needs to transfer to the next drawing, and so on and so forth. So it makes sense that you're encasing a form and not just, rippling all over the place.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like even the drawing behind us right now, the pants for Boba Fett have like these little lines that are demarcating shadows on his pants.
Yeah, and creases.
Yeah, creases. And those need to be replicated.
There's even if you look at on the kneecap and whatnot, there's like excess stuff. There's a lot of material. Also, then you look at the hump on the lizard
creature,
and those are designy, mole marks or what have you. But that's still different. It's not just a hashtag. They're all specific shapes and forms that have to be worked from one place to another. There's an aspect to the neck. You look at the bottom here, you can see where it looks like it's like his gullet. Is going up his neck. The muscles around the throat, and you can see where that indicates. And then if you carry it all the way up to the head, you'll see how it all kinds of works in some design where I'm drawing in front of my screen here.
The invisible pencil.
Yes.
We had to take the style of Moebius and put it into Lucas's world.
Right. Yeah. Now it all makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the style, the approach to line and to caricature and to simplicity of design, okay, and color. We have to take those elements and put them in the cantina, put them into into Lucas's world of Star Wars.
Okay.
Okay. Now I can sleep tonight.
Yeah.
you had said that you had a voice track to animate to.
Yes.
And it's been said that Don Franks is the voice of Boba Fett, but there's also another contingent of fans who say no, that was not Don Franks.
It is Don Franks.
It is, okay.
It is Don Franks.
Okay. We've even asked his daughter, Cree Summer.
Oh, right.
And she said yes, but I just wanted to hear from you too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was Don Franks. Yes. Yeah. Don Franks was one of our major voicers, voice actors for our shows. He did the devil in the Devil and Daniel Mouse. He did Boba Fett. He did Mock in our Rock and Rule.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was like the James Arnold Taylor of his time. He even voiced Boba Fett in the Droids animated series too.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, all this for the Faithful Wookiee short, do you have like a favorite part? Either just watching it or what you've animated?
There are two things. At the end, he's backing away with his raising his gun, and then I did that as one whole scene, and then they cut sections out of it to go in to work with the what was going back and forth in the dialogue. Okay, so but anyway, I like that part where he's backing away, raising his gun, and then flying out. Okay. I like that. I had that as a fun piece. Then it was the entry where he's sitting on his sea dragon. When you first see him, and he's got his gun, and I treated it like a Bedouin.
Oh, what's a Bedouin again? Remind us.
Bedouin is in Afghanistan is one of the tribal people that sit on the camels with their guns, holding like this and just saying, "Okay, what are you doing?" It's a very specific pose, and that's how it is. You look at that. And you'll see the first time you see him. See there. I mean, he's got his gun like that. Yeah, that's not a cowboy. A cowboy does not hold. He'll cradle it. He'll do something else. But this is how they would sit like that. And so so I did that, and I did the scenes where he is throwing. He's sort of whacking. He slams the sea creature with the gun. And then he's throwing it. He throws the rifle from one hand to the other, and then whacks. As it would with a giddy up, let's go. But basically, those were they were kind of cues from the script. That Lucas originally, I think, if I look at this page, because I made notations on this here.
Oh, perfect.
I had the writer approaches on the back of the creature. My note was rides like a knight on a charger. Then I said, suddenly, this is the script. Page 8 says, suddenly Boba whirls around and hits the creature who has been bothering him square in the nose. Now, let's put it this way. By that time, we know there's no way he could be standing on anything that was approaching where he could hit the creature on the nose. Right. So it was there that I decided I'm just going to whack him with the rifle.
Yeah. And not only is there a whack, but there's a whack with one of those Batman word bubbles without the word. Was that a Batman reference, or was that just something that you wanted to do?
No, I just did it. I just did it. I'm 20. I'm 28 years old. I'm gonna do whatever I want.
Yeah, and it wasn't until I rewatched it that I noticed there was a little whack, little bubble explosion thing.
Yeah, that was, and it's only there for 2 frames.
Yeah, wow. That's why I've never really noticed it until you start watching it with such a discerning eye.
Yes.
And you were also talking about the part you liked where Boba Fett is backing away and jettisons from his jet backpack. When we all saw that, we thought, is Boba Fett going to use his jet backpack in The Empire Strikes Back? We can't wait for this. The Kenner figure has got a jet backpack. Oh my goodness. And we don't see him use that until Return of the Jedi in '83.
We thought that Boba was going to be the main villain in The Empire Strikes Back. That was the kind of thing. But back then, nobody knew what was coming out of Lucas's, studio.
Right.
So you kept very, very, very close tabs, very quiet about it.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, the idea of doing the new villain, that was the big thing. We were saying, "Oh, this is cool. This is," we were excited about doing it.
Did they make you sign NDAs at that point, or that not even a thing because there was no internet?
No, I never signed any NDA.
Were you telling everyone that you're working on Boba Fett?
I know I would have.
People, I don't remember. I honestly don't remember what we were doing. I just knew that we were, or maybe Clive said, "Don't say anything about it."
Oh, okay. So it's more of a verbal thing.
Yeah.
I think the whole idea was, don't talk about it. Don't take anything home with you, or just don't show it to anybody. And that was, so we didn't.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Unlike today, where someone would accidentally leak it online. Accidentally.
There was no line.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I think only the very rich people would, had fax machines.
Yeah.
We did.
Especially then.
You had to be. You were part of a major corporation if you had fax machines, and then it would take at least half an hour or 15 minutes to upload, because it's dial-up.
Yeah.
There was no digital, so you're dialing up, and it's going.
Yeah. And 30 minutes later, you have one page transmitted.
It's buggy whip time.
Yeah. Back then, having a Radio Shack calculator was a big thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now, how excited are you that after so many decades, there's now merchandise all focused around your Boba Fett? There's the little golden book. There's the maquette. There's a Black Series action figure. There's so much. Do you have a collection of Boba Fett from the Faithful Wookiee?
Honestly, no. No. What I have are whatever my rough sketches are that I kept, and that's it.
Are they behind you a little in that room? We see some sketches.
Yeah. Over my shoulder is a closet, and that's filled with artwork from the past.
Wow.
I have my sketches and rough pieces of animation from all kinds of projects going back to Boba Fett and to the early Nelvana years and things of that sort.
Wow.
So, did you hold back on any artwork that you didn't put in your book? Plug.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there's still more.
Oh, so you could possibly do a follow-up.
Oh yeah, you could see over my shoulder. You see on the over there. That's it. Those are prints from the that I made of the artwork. That same size. So I do that on my website.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, before we go there, I just want to show you one more picture. This is a picture of me at Star Wars Celebration.
Oh, cool.
With a Boba Fett Faithful Wookiee cosplayer. Yeah,
that's great. It is really, really interesting to see and gratifying to see that people have picked up on the energy and the fun of that cartoon.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Definitely. And the colors too just really scream that fun as well.
Yeah, and whenever I go to conventions or Star Wars holiday special events, I always dress as Too Much Makeup Luke, because Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill had so much makeup in the special that I like to go as that. And some people go, "Oh, I know what you're from." and that costume, let's go back to that costume.
Sure.
That was a young girl. I didn't see her face, but I was talking to her, and she sounded very, very young. And she had recordings, the Boba Fett voice tracks coming out
Oh.
of her costume. Yeah,
Wow.
very, very well done. And someone who, as young as I think she was, like, okay, you know all about the holiday special. Go ahead and give your parents a big hug.
Yeah. Yeah, seeing seeing the gauntlet like that, and just seeing those, that the stylization of it, and seeing the, and I always referred to it as the tuning fork rifle, because when we didn't have a thing with the there was no design work. What would happened here is when we first refer to Boba Fett, it says a rider dressed in a white space suit, riding on his back. The rider holds up a tuning fork, zapping the first monster, which dives down into the water out of sight. There was no rifle. It was a tuning fork.
What was it for?
What was he tuning?
Well, a sound thing, boing.
Oh.
Okay. I guess those sound waves would.
Well, okay. This is the script. This was the fourth revised draft for June 1978.
Well, that's a unique weapon to have a tuning fork.
It is. It pulls it out. I mean, imagine if you had that in your pocket, the power that you could have.
That's funny.
My goodness, yeah, that changes everything.
How much we had to change from the script. Right. It wasn't just an element of just that we're doing exactly what was on the script. We did what worked.
Now, speaking of this book, can you tell us about its inception and where fans can get it as perhaps a holiday gift?
Okay, yes.
A holiday special.
Mm-hmm. Well, with the whole idea of this book is that it's kind of like a documentation of the elements of what went into the holiday special. I think you've seen the book, you've seen the comic book, you've seen the animation, you've seen all of the various permutations of what Boba Fett has become, the Book of Fett, Mandalorian, all of that. But these are the elements that went into it. This is before it actually got cooked, into a cassoulet. The element. This is the script of the character model sheets. This was my package. That's what I received, and so I'm looking at this is what I got. I saying, okay, this is what we're going to do. Work with this, and so I wanted people to know to see what it was that I had done, and it was basically as I said, it's a documentation, and this is all material that I would have thrown in the trash. Oh. But basically that's what it is. This is all this stuff. You don't keep it.
Right.
Yeah. I heard other companies like Filmation, after they're done with a project, they'll put all the cells on the floor and go like ice skating on them and slip around because they're so slippery. Like, oh no, that's history.
Oh yeah, that's history, but it is now history. It's really history. Chuck Jones's first job. It wasn't at Warner Brothers. It was this thing called the Mint Studio, whatnot. But back in those days, in the 1920s and very early 30s, the acetate that the drawings that the painted cells were created, they were more valuable than the artwork on it because so they washed it all off.
Wow.
Yes, and again, this is the reference to the aspect of yes, that would have been washed off.
No.
That would have been washed off, and basically it was using a sort of an acid dye in the Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole thing of being dunked into the vat.
Yes. Oh, the goo.
The whole idea was
Absolutely.
that's what they would do. You would get rid of it for those characters. That's why they didn't want to be they without the artwork they would no longer exist.
Right? Oh my gosh.
So the thing about it is that today everything is kept. But back then not a lot.
Oh yeah.
Right.
If you're not watching this on YouTube, you're if you are watching it on YouTube, you're seeing the actual acetate used for a Boba Fett cell.
Don't crack it.
No.
Don't fold it too much.
Carefully.
Oh,
I should be wearing like white gloves for this.
Yeah.
Oh, so then where can people buy your book? Buy this book?
Okay, I'm on. It's on my website. As you can see, johncelestricomics.square.site. I have the first print run of the book. It's $35 plus shipping. You just go to just go to me and if I will go for a second printing if necessary. But right now I still have copies, and so come to me and get it.
Yeah, if you're a fan of the holiday special or just animation, this is just a phenomenal book. There's character sheets for different characters and the whole script breakdown. It was fun watching the Faithful Wookiee and running down the script to see what was changed and what was cut. So this is for $35. I think you could charge a little bit more for this. This is a unique gift here.
It's really neat.
So tell us what else you're working on these days.
Well, I have my own comic books that I'm working on. I have an angel character, Bloodwing, a Fire Fist angel. It's more for a 17 plus.
Okay.
It's an angel character, and I've done it. Yeah, as you can see, naughty bits written there. Naughty bits. I'm the book. The first two books I have printed. What I'm doing it as a web comic now. The new adventures, the next episodes from this point on, it will be a web comic. The episodes will be available as a trade paperback, so the people can come and get them. They're $10 each,
Nice.
Plus shipping. It's all digest size. For those who like manga, it is black and white, and it is 5.5 by 8.5 size trade paperbacks. 64-page books. But I will be doing the web comic, and it takes place in an altered universe with my angel, who becomes the guardian angel for a neighborhood filled with very bad people.
Oh, we could use some of those over here in Los Angeles.
Oh yeah, well yeah, you don't have enough. Oh, you mean the guardian angels? I'm sorry.
Yes. Guardian angel.
Yes.
Yeah. You can. There are samples of pages and whatnot. Go to the website and you can see what they are. You'll see a whole bunch of things there. Mega Moose, my character, which is for the 10-year-olds, 8, 9, 10-year-olds, a nerd who sneezes and turns into the most powerful moose in the world, the superhero Mega Moose.
Oh, that old story?
Yeah, that old story.
Amazing. Yeah. Can we also go to your website to find like any convention appearances that you're going to be at?
When I do, what I'll do is you can sign up for my newsletter.
Oh, okay.
And I will be doing, because I will be in next year. I will be in Atlanta, but I think it's already sold out. There's a Star Wars. Star Wars collectors group.
Oh, okay.
In Atlanta. This past year, I was up in Toronto with the Ontario College. I may be at the down in Nashville. There's the international. There's a Star Wars collectors group in Nashville. That'll be in May also. So. That's just, but sign up for my newsletter and you'll know. I'm trying to put out a monthly newsletter letting you know what I'm doing, and also, how I became what I am in terms of samples of how to draw and how to create, but also
nice.
all kinds of things, feedback. You can contact me wherever, through my website and what have you, and the same way you contacted me.
Great.
All right.
Wow, that's fantastic. I can't wait to meet you in person one of these days.
Yeah, definitely, John.
Look forward to that.
Cool. That'd be great.
Now,
Wonderful.
one last question.
Yeah.
What do you like personally in animation these days?
Ooh. I kind of like the stuff that Eric Goldberg is doing. Because he and I came up through Raggedy Ann and Andy. So I know Eric from back then in 1975, 76.
Wow.
And I like the fact that he is helping to keep the old school Disney animation alive and training and getting people back into understanding what it takes to draw characters.
Yeah, and Eric Goldberg famously did the design for the genie.
Oh.
And in Once Upon a Studio, he worked a lot on that short.
Yeah, and he's been Eric has been sort of the spokesman for Disney 2D animation for a very long time now.
Yeah, and he's on like the Imagineering Story or one of those,
okay.
like a lot of those episodes on Disney Plus. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Awesome.
All right, John, we are a huge fan of your work. We even included your Boba Fett on our book. This is our
thank you.
Today in Star Wars History. Of course, we had to put a picture from the holiday special on there. And we took a picture of my actual cell and put it on there. So we are big fans of your work. And thank you so much for coming on the show and telling us all about your stories and answering questions I've had for 45 years.
I hope I answered enough of them so that, the mystery is solved.
I think you did.
Very much so. And now, can we call you friend?
They are here, friend.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yes, friend. Hi, friend. I am John Celestri, animator of Boba Fett in the Star Wars Holiday Special. And I am skywalking through Neverland.
We'll meet again, friend.
Well, that wraps up episode 440 of
Skywalking Through Neverland.
We want to thank John Celestri, and thanks to all of you Skywalkers who comment, like, and chat with us. Please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel to keep it going.
Now, are you interested in knowing what happened every single day in Star Wars history? We got you covered. Right over here. Well, you can pick up these books at LostCon, or if you're not going to go to LostCon, they are now available at skywalkingthrough-neverland.com/book.
That's right. Would you like to support Skywalking Through Neverland? Well, you can support us through the Skywalking Force, which is our Patreon, and the Skywalking Force has access to bonus content in the form of our Zoom discussions on the latest Disney Plus shows, such as The Mandalorian and
Ahsoka,
yes.
We did Marvel shows. Every once in a while, we'll slip in a film.
Yeah, absolutely. You will also get a coupon code to use for our books, and every year or so, we send out some special little gifts to our 40-strong Skywalking Force.
All right. Scott in the Sky Chat says he's saying hi in an AI.
Oh my. Wow, Scott.
Should we send the authorities over there? Are you being held by a big, large guy who looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger? If you are, let us know.
All right, well, the Skywalking Force bonus content begins at only $5 a month. You can head to skywalkingforce.com, have a look at the options, and thank you to those of you who are part of the Skywalking Force. We so appreciate you.
Now, we also want to thank our sponsor, Small World Vacations, for their support. Thinking of a trip to a Disney park? Well, you can fill out a Get a Quote form at smallworldvacations.com today. Their vacation planning service is free of charge, so check it out and tell them Skywalking Through Neverland sent you. Cue a Sarah sneeze.
Achoo.
There you go. Now, we are part of the Skywalking Network, where you can find other great shows like Talking Apes,
Classic Marvel Star Wars comics,
Totally Tell Me Everything.
the Max Effects podcast.
Do we say Star Warsologies yet?
No.
I was reading the Sky Chat.
I know.
So, Star Warsologies,
The Neverland Clubhouse,
Collectopolis,
and the YouTube shows
Collectopolis, and Today in Star Wars History. All right, this coming in from an AI Scott. God bless on your sneeze.
Oh, thank you. Nice. All right, Skywalkers, you can find us on social media. We are at Skywalking Pod, pretty much everywhere you can find us. Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. You can also search Facebook and YouTube for Skywalking Through Neverland, and that's when you will find us. You can also email us, share@skywalkingthroughneverland.com.
Now, don't forget to stick around for bloopers and Sarah sneezing right after the credits. And
always remember
to cover your nose when you sneeze.
And
that you are all friends.
They are here, friend.
Yeah.
And Neverland on Alderaan. Hey, look at those names to the left. They are part of the Skywalking Force, our Patreon.
Become a producer yourself and check out all the Disney Plus themed bonus content available depending on the level you subscribe.
Become a member of the elite Skywalking Force at skywalkingforce.com.